The war started without warning. One moment, the sky above Outpost Delta was calm. The next, it burned with fire. Liam had just finished checking the outer walls when the alarm began screaming. Red lights flashed. The comms were filled with voices, shouting over each other. The enemy wasn't supposed to be this close. But there they were, ships dark as ash falling from the clouds, weapons glowing, engines roaring like monsters. Most of the humans ran to their battle stations. Liam didn't. He turned and sprinted to the central research dome. Not because of orders, but because she was in there. Her name was Vela. She was not human. Her skin was violet, her eyes glowing silver. She stood taller than most soldiers. But right now, she was curled behind a lab console, clutching a data core like it was her child. When Liam burst in, she looked up, her face filled with something strange. Not fear, not panic. Something else. They came faster than I thought, she said. Her voice was soft but steady. We need to move. Liam didn't ask questions. He reached for her hand and pulled her to her feet. She held onto the data core with one hand, his wrist with the other. They ran together, the building shaking around them as bombs hit nearby. Outside, the air was thick with smoke. Explosions lit the horizon. Fighters screamed through the sky like angry insects. We can't get to the hangar, Liam said, scanning the destruction. But I know a path down the cliffs. There's an old evac chute. Vela didn't argue. She just followed him, trusting his every step. The path wasn't easy. The rocks were sharp, the wind strong. At one point, Vela slipped. Liam caught her before she fell. She didn't thank him. She just stared into his face like she was studying it for the first and last time. By the time they reached the bottom, the ground above was burning. The sky had turned red. They reached the evac chute. But the power was down. We can fix it, Liam said, pulling out a multi-tool. But I need you to cover me. Can you shoot? Vela raised an arm. A weapon unfolded from a bracelet on her wrist, sleek, glowing, alien. I can shoot, she said. While Liam worked on the panel, Vela stood behind him, eyes scanning the shadows. Something moved. 3 enemy scouts came down the rocks, silent, fast. Not human. Vela fired. Once, twice, 3 times. All 3 fell before they reached the ground. She didn't flinch, but Liam noticed her hand tremble afterward. It's done, he shouted. They both jumped into the chute. It hissed to life and launched them down into the darkness. They landed hard in an underground tunnel. For a moment, everything was silent. Then Vela turned to him. I was told not to get close to your kind, she said quietly. They said humans die too easily. Liam breathed hard, still holding his tool. We do, but we also survive things no one expects. Vela reached into her robe and pulled out something small. She held it up. It was a ring. It's a vow token, she said. On my world, if someone gives this, it means I will wait. If you come back alive, I'll be yours. Liam stared at her. You're giving this to me. I am, she said. Then she placed it in his hand. The tunnel rumbled again. Dust fell from the ceiling. We need to go, Liam said, pocketing the ring. They moved forward, deeper into the tunnels, toward the backup exit. Toward safety. Toward war. But Liam didn't look back. He knew what that ring meant now, and he planned to survive. Asterisk. The backup exit was blocked. Collapsed steel, burned out wiring, and the stench of melted earth filled the end of the tunnel. Liam stopped a few meters away, his chest rising fast. He kicked a loose rock and swore under his breath. Vela stepped beside him, calm but alert. Can we clear it? Not fast enough, Liam said. He scanned the wall to the side. There used to be an old maintenance shaft. He moved closer, fingers brushing against cold metal. There, hidden under layers of grime and dust, an access panel. he turned to her. This might be our only way out, but it's narrow, tight, and old. Then go, she said, nodding. I'll follow. The shaft was barely wide enough for one. Liam crawled in first, pushing his elbows forward. Every sound echoed metal groans, distant crashes above, the faint sound of alien gunfire. The shaft twisted, dropped, climbed again. Vela followed close. Her breathing stayed steady, but her voice came through softly. Why did you come back for me? Liam didn't stop crawling. Because I promised I would. I didn't hear you promise anything. I did, he said. To myself. There was silence behind him. Then a single word, good. The shaft finally opened into a wider chamber, an old storage bay. Filled with broken crates, half-lit lights, and dust thick as fog. They dropped down from the exit, both landing hard. Liam stood quickly, scanning the corners. Then he heard it, footsteps. Not human. They ducked behind a pile of crates. Liam peeked through a crack. 3 enemy soldiers were moving through the bay. Black armor, glowing helmets. Long, sharp rifles, not scouts. These were hunters. Liam raised a finger. 3. He pointed left. Vela nodded. She didn't hesitate. She aimed and fired once, clean through the nearest one's head. Liam moved fast. He tackled the second while the third turned to aim. The alien rifle fired. Pain shot through Liam's side, but he didn't fall. He slammed a wrench into the enemy's helmet twice. The body dropped, limp. Vela rushed to him, blood soaked his shirt. He didn't say a word. Just fell back against the crate. No, she whispered, pressing her hand over the wound. Don't you dare die now. I've had worse, he lied. She tore a strip from her robe and tied it around him. Her hands were shaking now. You gave me a ring, he muttered, teeth gritted. Guess I have to earn it. Vela leaned in, her silver eyes burning. Then stay awake. Breathe. Fight. I'm trying, he said. She helped him stand. His legs were weak, but she held him. Together, they moved through the broken door at the far end of the chamber. Sunlight hit them. The tunnel had led to the far cliffs overlooking a burned forest and what was once the outer defense line. But there was something else. A flare, green smoke. Rising high. Liam pointed. Rescue signal. We're not alone. Vela looked at the horizon. If we get there in time, they might take us. They will, he said. They have to. But the ground shook again. Distant engines roared behind them. They're coming, she whispered. Liam grabbed her hand. Then we keep moving. And they did, toward the signal, the war and the promise of survival. Asterisk. Liam could barely walk, but he didn't stop. Vela kept one arm around him, helping him move across the uneven ground. Her other hand held her weapon, always ready. They were quiet, careful. Every step was slow and full of pain. The green flare still rose in the distance, but it felt farther now. The wind had shifted, blowing smoke through the trees. Fires burned low in the forest, crackling like whispers. Somewhere behind them, the enemy searched. Your blood loss is getting worse, Vela said. She tried to keep her voice calm, but he could hear the worry. Liam grinned weakly. At least I still have blood. That's not funny. Didn't say it was. They reached the edge of a broken hill. A fallen ship lay across the ground below, its side torn open. The rescue signal was coming from inside. Vela helped Liam down the slope. But halfway down, his leg gave out. He collapsed onto his knees. Breathing hard, she knelt beside him, placing her hand on his chest. Rest for a second. No, he said. Not yet. You need help, she whispered. If I leave you here, I can bring back medgear. He shook his head. If you leave, I might not be here when you return. She didn't argue. She didn't leave either. Instead, she did something strange. She leaned close and pressed her forehead against his. For a second, her eyes glowed softly. This is how my people share strength, she said. It's only temporary. Liam didn't understand it, but he felt it, a warmth in his chest. Like someone had lit a fire inside him. With her help, he stood again. They reached the crashed ship's entrance. Inside, the green flare burned from a small beacon. Supplies were scattered around. There was food, water, a med kit. Vela moved fast. She opened the kit, pulled out sealant foam, and pressed it into Liam's wound. He yelled from the pain, but stayed still. The bleeding slowed. His breathing steadied. "You're healing," she said. Voice softer now. "For now," he replied. Then, they both heard it. The enemy had found them. Outside the ship, movement in the trees, shadows, weapons charging. "We can't stay here," Liam said. "They'll trap us," Vela replied. "If they surround the ship," Liam grabbed the flare. "Beacon, what are you doing?" "New plan," he said. He threw the flare out into the trees. The bright green smoke exploded in the air, drawing attention. Then he pulled Vela into the dark section of the ship, away from the open door. Seconds later, the enemy ran past toward the flare, toward the smoke. They waited in silence, pressed together, barely breathing. When it was quiet again, Vela looked at him. Her face was close, her expression unreadable. "You think like a soldier," she said. "I'm a mechanic," he said. "But war teaches fast." She smiled. Just slightly. Then she looked down. "You should know something." "What?" "The ring I gave you. It's not just a vow token. On my world, it also carries a signal. A bond." "What kind of bond?" "If one of us dies, the other feels it." Liam stared at her. "You didn't tell me that. You weren't supposed to get hurt." He looked down at his hand. The ring was still in his pocket. He took it out slowly. Vela reached for it, but stopped herself. "You don't have to wear it now." Liam looked at her face, the dirt on her cheek, the cuts on her arm, the fear she didn't show but he could feel. "I want to," he said. Then he slipped the ring onto his finger. Outside, more ships passed overhead, searching. But inside the wreck, a human and an alien sat close, their hands touching, their bond growing stronger. Neither of them said it out loud, but both knew. If they wanted to survive, they'd have to fight again, together. The ring felt heavier now. Liam kept touching it, as if making sure it was real. Vela watched him quietly, her silver eyes shining in the low light of the broken ship. The silence between them wasn't awkward, it was calm, like the short breath before another storm. "We can't stay here long," Liam said finally. "I know," Vela replied. "They're still out there, watching." Liam nodded. "Then we need a new plan." Outside, the wind had picked up. Smoke from nearby fires drifted through the trees like ghosts. They moved slowly now, every sound a risk. Liam walked better, since the wound was sealed, but he still leaned against Vela when the pain flared. After 2 hours of moving through ash and broken trees, they found a signal tower half destroyed, but standing. A human symbol was scratched into the side. "Survivors might be near," Liam said. Vela scanned the area. Or the enemy already searched it. They stepped inside carefully. The tower was empty, dust-covered. But there was one working console, still humming faintly. Liam sat in front of it, coughing from the effort. "If I can get this beacon running, it might call a friendly ship." Vela nodded and stood guard near the door. He worked in silence, fingers flying across the controls, teeth gritted from pain. Wires sparked, panels groaned. But the beacon finally lit up green. "It's sending," he whispered. Just then footsteps. Not one, many. Vela's eyes sharpened. "They've tracked us again." "How?" She looked down. Her voice was quiet. "The ring, it's still active." "You said it was just a bond signal." She nodded slowly. "It is, but it can be traced." Liam's jaw clenched. "So I take it off?" "No," she said quickly. "If you do, I'll feel pain. I might collapse. His eyes met hers. I'm not risking that, he said. She looked like she wanted to argue, but she didn't. Instead, she turned, aimed her weapon at the door, and waited. When the enemies burst in, Vela moved like a storm. Her shots were fast and deadly. Liam pulled a broken rifle from the floor, fixed the power line in seconds, and returned fire. They fought side by side. Not like strangers, but like soldiers who had done this together for years. Blood sprayed the walls. The sound of death echoed. In the narrow hall, Liam took a hit in the shoulder, spun, and dropped another attacker with one clean shot. Vela didn't speak. Her focus was perfect, cold, beautiful. When the last enemy dropped, she fell to one knee, breathing hard. You okay? Liam asked, rushing to her. She looked up, her hair messy, her face dirty. I'm fine. You're bleeding. It's nothing. He pulled her close anyway, checking her arm. The cut wasn't deep, but her hands trembled now. Vela, he said softly. I know we keep saying we'll make it, but... She stopped him by placing her hand over his mouth. You will survive, she whispered, because I believe in you. Then she reached for the control panel and boosted the beacon signal. Now they'll come, she said. One of our ships. Or yours, you sure? I told them what I gave you. They'll come for the ring. He raised an eyebrow. You mean come for me? She looked at him for a long moment. Yes. Then she leaned in and touched her forehead to his again, just like before. This time, the warmth between them didn't just feel like energy, it felt like trust. Like something deeper. Something real. Outside, a ship's engines roared in the distance. They both turned to the sky. Help was coming. But so was the final fight. The ship came down fast, too fast. Liam and Vela watched from the signal tower roof as the sleek silver rescue craft cut through the smoke. It hovered above the ruins, its blue lights flashing across the broken ground. They came, Liam whispered. Vela didn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the ship. Something's wrong. The ship didn't open its hatch. It didn't scan the area. It just hovered, silent. Then Liam saw them, two figures stepping out from the shadows behind the tower. Black armor, glowing helmets. It's a trap, he said. That's not our ship. More enemies poured out of the forest, 10, maybe more. They'd used the beacon to draw them in. Vela turned to Liam. You need to run. No, you're injured. I'm not leaving you again. She reached for him, but he grabbed her hand. We fight together, he said. That's the promise. Her eyes shimmered. Not from fear, from something else. She nodded once. Then she stepped forward. Vela didn't hold back. She charged the first enemy and slammed him into the ground with shocking strength. Her weapon fired in every direction, sharp, bright, deadly. Liam followed behind, ducking and firing. Every shot aimed to protect her back, but they were surrounded. An explosion hit the base of the tower. The building shook. Debris rained down. Liam pulled Vela behind a broken pillar. We can't hold this spot, he said. She glanced up. I know. Then she looked at his chest. Your ring is glowing. Liam looked down. It was true. The ring on his finger was shining with pale violet light. What does it mean? He asked. Vela stared at it. Her voice lowered. It means I wasn't the only one who activated the bond. What? Liam. It means you chose me back. Fully. It's alive now. The ground shook again, but suddenly, a deep hum cut through the air, low and powerful. A second ship descended, not sleek, not quiet. This one was massive, made of black metal with glowing blue runes. It landed like thunder. Is that yours? Liam asked. Vela's lips parted slowly. That's my clan's warship. The enemies froze. Their heads turned. One of them shouted in their alien tongue. A blinding beam hit the ground in front of them, sending half their group flying. Then the warship's ramp opened. Figures stepped out, tall, armored, violet-skinned like Vela. Warriors, her people. One of them shouted her name. Vela stood tall. They followed the bond, she said. They knew the ring was active. The enemy retreated, fleeing into the smoke. Vela turned to Liam. It's over, she whispered, but he collapsed before he could answer. Blood soaked his side again. The foam had failed. He had pushed too hard. She dropped beside him, her face pale. Stay with me, he coughed. Still breathing. You have to live, she said. You have to. He looked at her. You said you'd marry me if I survived. She nodded quickly, tears forming now. Then hold on, she said. Her people rushed forward. Medics took Liam. Vela stayed beside him, holding his hand the whole time. She didn't let go. Not once. Not now. Asterisk. Liam woke to soft light and silence. He wasn't on a battlefield anymore. He lay in a warm bed, surrounded by silver walls and humming machines. The air smelled clean. The pain in his body was still there, but dull now, wrapped in medicine and rest. He tried to sit up. A hand touched his chest gently. Don't move yet, said a familiar voice. He turned his head. Vela sat beside him, dressed in royal armor, now dark silver with blue markings glowing across her chest and arms. But her face was the same, soft, watching him like he was the only thing that mattered. In the room. You made it, she whispered. He smiled weakly. Barely. You survived. You sound surprised. I'm not, she said. I believed in you. She reached for his hand and took it in both of hers. Her fingers trembled slightly. How long was I out? He asked. 3 days. He looked down. The ring was still on his finger. The glow had faded, but it felt warmer than before. I felt you, she said. Even when you slept. I felt your heart keep beating. Liam breathed slowly. Did your people accept me? She nodded. After what you did? They call you the fire that broke the storm. He laughed a little, but stopped as his ribs reminded him he was still healing. Vela leaned closer, her voice quieter now. Do you remember what I told you? About the ring? That you'd wait, if I survived. She smiled. You did. He looked at her face, then down at her hands. She wore a ring too, now silver, with a violet gem. Matching his. You didn't have to, he said softly. I wanted to, she replied. On my world, when two rings are linked, they glow only when the bond is true. He stared at her. Is this real? She nodded. I already told my people. You're not just a survivor. You're my chosen. My future. He blinked slowly. So, we're married now? She smiled and leaned her forehead against his. Almost. Just one thing left. She reached into her belt and took out a ribbon. Smooth, silk-like. It shimmered in alien colors, blue, silver, and violet. What's that? He asked, our way of sealing the vow. She gently tied the ribbon around both their hands, and when she did, the rings glowed again. Bright, warm. Alive. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The war, the wounds, the world. Only they existed. A human and an alien, two souls. One bond. When the light faded, Vela kissed his forehead and whispered, now it's real. He closed his eyes, holding her hand tightly. They had both survived. But more than that, they had chosen each other. And nothing could take that away now.